Up in the Sky is my new album, which is a collection of chilled out instrumentals and songs about memories, nostalgia, summertime, evening kind of vibes. Around the campfire with friends, or looking out under the stars, looking at the sunrise, looking out to kind of the future and our hopeful tomorrow. The first track is called Nostalgia, Even the Smallest Seed, which implies, even the smallest seed can grow into the largest tree. And it kind of develops along as the track goes on, so it builds and builds and then kind of fades back away. And it harks back to my previous album, Sunday Someday, had quite long track titles, and it's kind of a tie-in to how that was a daytime album. This is now sort of venturing into the nighttime and more of those kind of vibes. I think a lot of tracks on this album specifically build up throughout the course of the track. So they'll start off quite simple, and then I'll add some drums or I'll add a bass line, and then there'll be a change up in structure. But sometimes it is nice just to strip away all the instruments. There's a few moments on the album where it is just one or two instruments, and I guess that kind of works well with the theme of a little bit of loneliness, a little bit of melancholy. Music Box is the second track, which is a sort of lullaby. Every track features a music box somewhere on it or throughout the album, and it ties the album together as a kind of evening-y, childhood memory, lullaby style chill out. I think it can be quite hard to express your feelings in words rather than music. I think sometimes music just has this real ability to convey feelings, even just nice cozy kind of vibes on some of the tracks. I think it can be quite obvious on the album what sort of feel I was going for, but expressing it in words can be a little bit more difficult. Campfire is an upbeat, faster track with vibes of sitting around a campfire with your friends, laughing, joking, good times, kind of early evening sort of vibes, just watching the flames dance and having fun, really. There's definitely been some video game influences on this album. There's some kind of 8-bit sounding synths, and some of the drums are video game based. So I think that's influenced things quite a lot. Just kind of finding my own sound, as a composer. The first album I wrote was 14 years ago, so it's been a long time refining and finding my sound in this kind of music. So yeah, hopefully it's kind of the latest evolution of the way my music is. Embers recalls the end of an evening, as things are dying down, the fire is dying down, talk around the fire is dying down. It's about the kind of intensity of relationships and how those can die down over time. And I think the campfire is quite a big theme of the album. It's kind of, you don't have a campfire in the daytime, it has to be an evening when you have a campfire. It's a very evening-y orientated album, and there's kind of the friendship of being around a campfire, and then as it dies down you might feel a bit more lonely, say as people start to fall asleep, or you might end up looking out to the stars by yourself. It's kind of about the two sides of the social aspects of friendship and sometimes the more lonely aspects of relationships and friendships in your life. I think the pace of the album is actually quite important to how the album flows, because you start off with the good times, with the social around the campfire sort of songs, the happy summer vibes, and then you flow through to the melancholy stuff before you really have a chance to appreciate the good times. But then again, you flow through to the end of the album with Towards Dawn, a hopeful ending before too long. So the pacing of the album kind of represents appreciating what you've got while it's there, and there'll always be another day. There'll always be something to move on to, even if you're having a really melancholy sort of time. It won't always be like that. So I guess the hopefulness for this album is a big theme and part of its pacing as well. To Absent Friends is kind of a well-wishing kind of song, to people that maybe you used to speak to a lot that you don't speak to so much, or even people that you might have fallen out with along the way, that you don't really harbour too many bad feelings for. It's kind of a toast almost. A lot of my work like Ghost Tool, the Big Beat Manifesto is very sort of predicated on samples, but this really relies on the melodies and the chords and the feel of the music to kind of convey a point. And I think by not using samples and just, you know, keeping a very homely synth tone, sort of nostalgic 8-bit synths, music box that's on every track, just in the background, you know, running parallel to all the tracks, it helps tie the whole thing together and just make it the experience that it is. You know, it's a cohesive but rewarding experience to listen to. Hopefully people listening to the album will be able to pick up on some of the themes, I guess feel along with me as I did writing the songs, but anything you feel when listening to the album is valid, so I guess, yeah, I hope people will be able to create their own sort of stories and inner monologues to the album as well. The album's out on May the 31st. It's available on Spotify, Bandcamp, YouTube Music, Apple Music, and all online places that you would expect to find music, as well as probably some that you wouldn't. My entire digital discography is also available on Bandcamp at a reduced rate, so if you get all, I think it's 17 albums, or there's a lot of stuff to listen to. Yeah, I mean, really the best way to support the music is just to kind of follow along on the journey, you know, visit my site or visit my Bandcamp, subscribe to, I think you can follow on Bandcamp to sort of get an email every time I release an album, and just, yeah, keep up to date with what's coming out and, you know, listen and enjoy, I guess. I'm doing it all.
How much of the album do people have to listen to before they'll really get the most out of it?
All of it. You should listen to all of albums.
In the right order.
Yeah, no shuffle. We can't be shuffling albums.
And with the samples...
There are no samples. Yeah, so my entire
we should sample that.